Welcome to Akshara classes. This is your physics faculty. Yeah, today let's start our session. So in the last class we have been discussed about what we can call what the multiples and submultiples. Okay, last class we discussed that multiples and submultiples. Today we are going to explain about dimensions and dimension formula. So it is a very interesting topic, as well as in IIT JEE, based on this you will get one question. Understand? So let's start that part here now. So our topic is dimensions and dimensions formulas. See here, dimensions and dimensional formula. So actually this topic is new for you. This topic is, as a 6th class students, this topic is new for you. Understand? Dimensions and dimensional formula or formulae. Dimension formulae. So let's first we will discuss about these dimensions. Later we'll go for what? Dimension formula. See, what is mean by these dimensions? So to know about these dimensions, first of all, recall our fundamental quantities. What are the fundamental quantities you have? Length, mass. How many fundamental we have? 7 actually. In that 7, first one is length, mass, time, temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity. Next one is what? Electric current. Totally how many are there? 7 fundamental quantities. I will write here. So mass, next one is length, third one is time, fourth one is temperature, fifth one is amount of substance, sixth one is current, seventh one is luminous intensity. Luminous intensity are the how many quantities? 7 quantities. These 7 quantities are called fundamental quantities. Here, then what is mean by dimension? Coming to this point. Dimensions means the 7 fundamental quantities are called dimensions of physical world. Got my point? What is mean by dimensions? Dimensions means the dimensions are nothing but the 7 fundamental quantities are called dimensions of physical world. Simply. So means these are the dimensions for what? Physical world. So think now, what is mean by dimensional formula? Here dimension formula means writing any physical quantity. Understand? Writing any physical quantity in terms of these dimensions are known as dimension formula. So that is a simple definition and simple thing. Got my point? What is mean by dimensions? Dimension means the 7 fundamental quantities we call as dimensions of what? A physical world or science. Simply you can say science. For the science, these are the dimensions. Now, what is mean by dimension formula? Writing any physical quantity in terms of these dimensions or in terms of these fundamental quantities is known as dimension formula. Understand? Simple thing, simple one. So now by using these examples, we will write the dimension formulas. Okay, that's it. That is our topic. So writing the examples are important here. Writing the dimensions, many dimension formulas will give a better idea how to write the dimension formula. So first of all, I will write dimensional formulas for what? Dimensional formula for what? These fundamental quantities. Got it? I'll write first dimensional formula for what? These fundamental quantities. See here, dimensional formula for these physical quantities. See, let us take mass. So mass is a physical quantity. So every time dimension formula, dimensions every time we will represent with in a square bracket. Understand? Dimension formula will write in a square bracket. So mass in a square bracket, then dimension formula we will write as m1, l1, l0, t0. So understand, this is the way the dimension formula we can represent m1, l0, t0. See here, this total equation is called dimensional formula for what? Mass. And look at here, the powers of these fundamental quantities are known as dimensions. So this total part is called dimension formula. And next, the powers of these fundamental quantities is called as dimensions of that physical quantity. Here, look at here. Now, in this mass formula, what is the dimensions of mass here? 1. 1 is the dimensions of mass. In a mass dimensional formula, how much is the dimensions of mass? 1. Similarly, length dimension is 0. And next, time dimensions also 0. Even you can write remaining physical quantities also, but it is become very lengthy. So expressing this way is enough. Remaining thing also we can add, but here that is become very lengthy, so not required that lengthy one. Simply you can write in three units. I mean 3 physical quantities. Got it? And next, similar way, let me write for length. If I write for length, so length, write down here, length. So this is a length. If I write length here, so I am representing in a square bracket. So then, how we can represent the dimension formula here? m0, l power 1, t0. Now tell me how we are written here. Look at here, carefully observe. We are writing the dimension formula for what? Length. When you are writing the dimension formula for length, so what are the dimensions of length? Length here, mass dimensions is 0. Length dimension is 1 because here power of the length is how much here? 1. Power of the length is what? 1. Since the dimensions of length is 1 and time dimension is 0. Got it? Time dimension is 0. So totally this is your dimension formula and dimensions are 0, 1, 0 are the dimensions of this length. Now coming to the one more quantity, time. If I write time, that is equal to m0, l0, t power 1. So this is the dimensional formula for what? Time. In that case, dimensions of mass is 0, dimensions of length is 0, time dimensions is 1. Here dimension means power of these fundamental quantities of that physical quantity is known as dimensions. Next, let me write a similar way, temperature. So temperature, shortly I am writing as temp. So m0, L0, T0. I am including this T also. So T you can represent as K, K power 1. So this is the way we will have the dimension formula. Let me write for amount of substance. Amount of substance. Dimension formula is what? M0, L0, T0. Amount of substance, you can write MOL. Power is how much? 1. So this is the way we can write the dimensions. And similar way, current dimensions. So now current dimension is what? M0, L0, T0, I power 1. This is about current dimensions. Now last and final, luminous intensity. Luminous, I am writing in a short way, keep it in mind. Luminous intensity, also we can write M0, L0, T0. Luminous intensity you can take L power 1, not L, intensity kada. So you can take, here you can take A, here you can take I power 1. I power 1 is representing the intensity. So this is the way writing the dimensions of what kind of quantities here? Fundamental quantities. These are called fundamental quantities. So these are the dimension formulas for fundamental quantities. So we are talking about dimensions and dimension formula. Here dimensions means these 7 physical quantities we'll call as the dimensions for the physical world. Here we have written dimensions formulas for what kind of quantities? Fundamental quantities. Mass, length, time. Here this is the temperature and this is amount of substance, current, luminous intensity. So these are the dimensions formulas for what kind of quantities? Fundamental quantities. So once again I am repeating what is meant by dimensions and dimension formula. Dimensions means the in a dimension formula. So this is actually a dimension formula for what? Mass. So here the powers of these fundamental quantities. Here fundamental quantities are what? Mass, length, time. So these powers we will call as a dimensions. The powers are nothing but the powers how much it is participating in the formula. Who are participating here? The fundamental quantities are participating. How much they are participating is represented with these powers. So these powers are relating to what? These fundamental quantities. Since the powers raised in a formula is known as dimensions. So writing the formula in terms of fundamental quantities is known as dimension formula. And one more thing is, this total is called dimensional equation. Dimensional equation. Dimensional equation. Dimension formula is nothing but just this is representing the dimension formula of what? This mass, and totally combinedly we call dimensional equation. And here what is these powers? Powers are called dimensions of that physical quantity. So now let us take some other examples so that you can understand in a better way. So I'll take here. So let us write dimensional formulas for derived quantities. Dimensional formulas for derived quantities. Here let us take the area. Area you know. Area units you know. Area units are meter square. Area units are meter square. You know very well. Units. Area unit is meter square is a unit. Now let us write a dimension formula for area, because this is area is a physical quantity. we will write dimensions formulas for only physical quantities, not for anything. Now, area I am taking here, area. So, whenever you want to write dimension formula, you must represent in a square bracket. So, I have represent this area in a square bracket. That is equal to, I want to write dimension formula kada. So, dimension formula we will write in terms of what? Fundamental quantities. So, how many fundamental quantities here? Meter square. Meter is representing that length value. When your meter is representing length value, mass dimension becomes 0, L dimension become 2, time dimension becomes 0. Understand? So, this total combinedly it is called, in this totally called dimension formula, dimensional formula, and this total combinedly is called dimensional equation. And these powers of these power 0, 2, 0, these powers are called dimensions. Understand? So, simple way. So, understood? This here we are writing whose dimensions here? Area. When you are writing area dimensions formula, so area must be representing in square bracket. This is also must be represented in square bracket. So, here unit for area is meter square. Means length having 2 times. Length having 2 times. Length having 2 times or length having square, length having square, not 2 times. Now, in that case, I wish to write this total thing in fundamental quantities. The fundamental quantity first one is mass. Mass value power is become 0, length power is become 2, time power become 0, remaining all are also 0 only, but I am not representing remaining all. So, only I am representing 3 quantities here. So, here this simple part is known as dimension formula. This total combinedly called dimensional equation, and the powers are said to be what? Dimensions of that physical quantity. See here, dimensions of mass in the area is how much? 0. Dimensions of length in the area is how much? 2. Dimensions of time in the area is 0. Similar way, dimensions of temperature in the area is also how much? 0 only. Even current also 0. Luminous intensity also 0. So, that is the way we can express the dimension formulas. Now, one more example I will give. You know, velocity, let me take. Velocity formula. Velocity formula is actually distance by time. Velocity formula is distance by time. Distance units are meter and time units are second. So, velocity units are meter per second, and the formula is distance by time or displacement by time. This is the formula. Now, I wish to write the dimension formula, dimensional equation, dimensions. 3 parts I wish to explain for velocity. So, now when I wish to write, so you must take this total thing in a square bracket. I represent in a square bracket. First part done. Second part is what? We wish to write dimensional formula of what? Velocity. So, but here when you are writing dimension formula, is any mass contribution in the velocity? No mass contribution, since mass power become how much? 0. Because mass is a fundamental quantity. Now, is there any length terms here? Yeah, length term, meter is representing length term since L power 1. Is there any time terms? Yes, time second is a time term. So, which is t power minus 1. So, finally, this is your what? Dimensional formula for what? Velocity. Now, combined, look at here finally. So in this part is representing dimensional formula, and this total part representing that dimensional equation. This total part is representing that dimensional equation, and these powers of the fundamental quantities are representing 0, 1, -1 are nothing but what? Dimensions. Dimensions of what? This velocity. Now see here clearly. So now when I am asking dimensional equation, you must equate the physical quantity with dimension formula. Just if I ask dimension formula, you just remember this equation, this point. When I am asking dimensions, you must say about the powers of the fundamental quantities. See here, in the velocity, what is the mass power? Mass power is how much? 0. What is the meaning here? Mass power is 0 means the mass contribution is nothing in velocity. Similar way, when you are talking about length dimensions in the velocity, length dimension is how much? 1, because here length is participating to explain the velocity, since length dimension is how much? 1 in the velocity. Similar way, time dimensions. Time dimension is -1, so that time also participating in the velocity to explain. So that is the way we will have dimension formula for velocity, dimension equation, dimensions. But what is the use of these all things? These all the uses is to explain without anything, we can explain about physical quantities here. So this another one is we can convert the one system of unit to another system of unit by using this dimension formula. We can find the formulas also for a physical quantities. That is one more important thing, and we can check dimensionally by using this dimensional formula equation, dimensional equation. That is the 3 important uses we have by using what? This dimensional formula. Let me write another example here, or else we'll see some questions from your material. So please open your material once. I hope everyone you are having this kind of material, right? So please open page number 25. The page number 25, we are explained that dimensional formulas. So some important dimensional formulas we will write here now. I'll write the dimension formulas. So I'm taking here just now we written area. Let us see volume. Volume formula length into breadth into height. This is a volume formula generally. So units become meter cube. This is the formula, this is unit. Then how do you write this dimension formula? So every time dimension formula will represent what? In a square bracket. So here, so now when you are talking about dimension formula, how much is the mass contribution here? Mass contribution is 0. What is the contribution of length here? Length contribution power is 3, time contribution nil. So this is the way you have the dimension formula. Now in the dimension formula, this is completely representing dimensional equation. This part is representing dimension formula of volume, and here powers. Power of mass is 0, power of length is 3, power of time is 0. So that is the dimensions of that physical quantity. And coming to the volume completed together, density let us take. Density dimension formula. Let me write density first. Density formula. Density formula is mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume is a density formula. So mass units are kg, length units are meter cube. Now we wish to write a dimension formula here. Dimension formula for density is equal to, is there any mass contribution? Yes, we have a mass contribution. So it becomes m power 1. Is there any length contribution? Yes, it becomes L cube. Is there any time contribution? No time contribution. So here, this is it is totally called dimension equation. This part is called dimensional formula, and dimensions are what? 1, 3, 0 are the dimensions of this density. Similar way, force, so acceleration you can write. Acceleration. Whenever you are talking about acceleration is nothing but velocity by time actually. This is the formula for acceleration. Velocity per time. So here velocity units are meter per second and time units are seconds. So finally it becomes meter per second square. Finally it is become what? Meter per second square. So look at here. Let me write acceleration dimension formula. Acceleration is equal to any mass contribution? No mass contribution. So it is become 0. Any length contribution? Yes, L power 1. Any time contribution? Yes, it is 2, but it is denominator, it become minus 2. So this is the way we will write the dimensional equation. This is called dimension formula, and dimensions are what? 0, 1, minus 2 are the dimensions. So this is the way we can write the dimensional formulas. So remaining thing you can once look at here. So now let's discuss some questions here from your practice sheet. So conceptual questions, look at here, conceptual questions. So page number 27, we have conceptual questions. The first one is the symbol to represent unit in thermodynamic temperature. The symbol to represent the unit of thermodynamic temperature is what? K. So your option become what? K, second option. Similar way, the symbol to represent unit for the electric current is actually both 1 and 2 will come. A you can represent, even I also you can represent. So the fourth option will come. Similar way, the symbol to represent the unit of luminous intensity. So that is second option CD, not third option CD. Second option small d, CD. And next, the symbol to represent unit of quantity of matter, it is mole. So they are asking that symbol. So it is mole. So MOL, small mole, MOL, small. So option 3 is right. Option 3 is right. Now coming to the so look at here. Exercise 1. See exercise 1. The exercise 1, in the exercise 1, first question is they are asking dimension formula for area. Just now I told dimension formula for area. So here, look at here, area nothing but length into breadth. So formula is length into height. Units become meter square. So dimension formula is what? Area dimension formula m0 L power 2 T0. So option, what is the option become here? The third option is right. Similar way, volume. So here this is a volume, look at here. M0, M power 0, L power 3, T power 0. So what is the option you'll have? Yeah, the second option is correct. The second question, second option is right. And next, same way, velocity. So here, velocity, already I mentioned here, velocity formula is what? Distance per unit time. So, meter per second is our unit. Now, dimension formula, what you can write? m0, L power 1, T power minus 1. So, this is the dimension formula for velocity. So, what is the option here? Option m power 1, T power minus 3. Second option. If it is mentioned 1 here, not mentioned, the power is how much? How much students here? 1 only. So, if it is mentioned or without mention, the power is how much here? 1. So second option will have for fourth question. So, they are asking velocity kada. Velocity dimension formula m0, L power 1, T power minus 1. Second option you will get. Similar way, density dimension formula. Just now, here we have density m power 1, L power 3, T power 0. So, what is the option for fourth question? M power 1, L power 3, L power 3. Density kada, sorry, volume power minus 3 you will get, because this volume is denominator kada, it will go up, correct. So that what is the answer here? Third option you get correct one. Third option is correct. And similar way, density dimension formula for acceleration. Just now we written here acceleration is m power 0, L power 1, T power minus 2. So this is the way we'll have acceleration. So next, force, look at here, I will give the formula for force. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Can you write a dimension formula? Force formula is what? Mass into acceleration. Can you write dimension formula? Yeah. So here, mass means kg, acceleration means meter per second square. So by using this, you can write dimension formula as mass terms are 1 and length terms are 1, time terms are minus 2. So finally, this is your dimension formula for force. So you can check once, what is the dimensional formula? What is the option here? Option, what is the option here? Okay, this is a force dimension formula, but they are asking something. The physical quantity which have 0 dimensions in time. The physical quantity which 0 dimensions of time. 0 dimensions of time is last option, length. In length, we don't have time dimensions. So answer is what? Fourth option. For sixth question, fourth option. Now seventh question, if you see the seventh question, they are asking dimension formula for force. So this is the dimension formula for force. Now remaining thing you can solve. So today I will stop the session. I hope you have got clarity how to write dimension formulas. Okay? Okay children, today I am signing off. We'll meet in next class. Bye bye.